Hey crew, we are talking about the pass-through for transitional strength on the muscle up. This is the muscle up with the rings, and in this variation I have a couple progressions for you to work on. So the first one is going to be just being able to do a sissy squat while standing. So in this position we're going to mimic our false grip in front of us like this, all right? And then we're going to stick our hips over towards our heels, so we're bending, our glutes are flexed and our knees are bent like this in front of our feet, coming up onto our toes. So what's key here is you guys are in this position, your knuckles are practicing being on your chest or on your sternum, okay? And then you're gonna transition, sending your butt back into this position, which looks kind of like a chicken dance right here. So this is gonna have your elbows, all right? Your fists are gonna be behind, your elbows are up and your fists are behind your shoulders if you have that range of motion. So I'm pretty much staying in the same position, and this work can be done almost standing in the beginning to get the right rhythm down. So to transition back, we'll send the hips forward until we squeeze the glutes, hips are open, okay? Now my hips are over my heels at this point, and my arms are back in front. So that's what it looks like standing. So making sure that you're able to mimic this position here, sissy squat, with the false grip in front, tracing the chest and the sternum back into this sort of high chicken dance position here. Looks kind of goofy, but just being able to establish this rhythm is going to help you when you move on to the rings. Okay, so we're going to go over to the rings now, and the first thing I'm going to do is establish a false grip for the transition here. I'm going to put my thumbs through, wrapping around the inside of the rings here, and the heels of my palms are on the outside of the ring. All right, so it's going to set me up for a false grip. Here I'm going to settle into that position we were in before, that high chicken dance position. Again, my fists are behind my shoulders, and I'm in a deep position here, just working on that range of motion, that strength. So at this point, the rings are still hanging straight up in front of me. It's almost going to feel like I'm moving around the rings as I transition into my sissy squat. Look, I have almost no weight on these rings. In fact, I could pick them up if I needed to. And I'm going to trace my chest here in front into that sissy squat, and then I'm going to transition back through into that deep dip, the deep chicken dip. All right? So then let's do another rep here. Cool. Back like this. All right? And as I become more and more comfortable with this motion, moving essentially around the rings, even though the rings turn into sissy squat, into the deep chicken dip, I'm going to start to bring my feet more and more off the ground here until I get up on my tippy toes. And then I'm going to do the same thing in this progression here. I'm on my toes. So now I'm putting a little bit of weight on it, and that's going to make it way more difficult. Make sure you don't short this or start coming out and doing this thing here. Okay, that's a different movement. We want to keep it tight on the chest, transitioning here and through. Okay, that is the fundamental ring pass through using the sissy squat in transition.